What's up, my babies? Just a quick apology if I sound any different. I am sick, so gonna apologize in advance. That also might affect my mental ability to stay narrating well, but hey, I hope you're along for the ride. Old School Runescape has always had one part of it that I did not like, and if you've seen my other videos, you'll know that that's questing. Questing has just never been my thing. Even on my main account, I don't have that many quest points. Like, after this video, I'm very close to matching my main account, which is level 100 and something's quest points. So, just throwing that out there. But I will say a big thing that has changed since I used to try and do quests years ago is the addition of RuneLight's Quest Helper plugin. And they also have the addition of what order you should do the quests in as well, which is very helpful, specifically for Ironman, where they try and do it to where if you're, say, in Port Piscarilius or whatever, they try and do the next quest over in Corinne or whatever that you can actually do. That way, you're not just stuck lottie-dawing around the map for about 4 hours to do 2 quests. But don't get me wrong, I don't exactly have that many teleports to get around. I can pretty much just use a games necklace and any of the teleport spells up to like 57, I think, magic, so not exactly super mobile yet, but these quests were not too bad. They're really early on quests, obviously, as I'm doing Romeo and Juliet, arguably one of the easier quests in the game that give you a lot of quest points for seemingly nothing. Honestly, I'm just trying to get through a lot of the early quests, and then that way it will kind of catapult me on to doing more helpful quests that will have quest requirements and quest point requirements that I'm just trying to get out of the way now so that I'm not annoyed when I'm level 100 having to do Romeo and Juliet. Also, just a side note, even though we're 2 minutes into the video, I'm sure you can tell already, I've cut out a lot of the running in between parts of the quest because, as I said earlier, I don't have a lot of the teleports, so I'm not trying to waste your all's time just watching me run from Lumbridge to the Wizard Tower and back and back. You get the point, you know what I'm doing. I think the next goal, because originally I had a lofty goal of trying to get to Barrows early, but it just doesn't seem practical at this point because we don't exactly have super fast ways to get there. So I'm just trying to knock out some quests, get to where I can use the iron gloves, steel gloves, whatever, start upgrading those so I can actually have another strength upgrade or just equipable for the glove slot that's not, you know, ham gloves or whatever, because that doesn't really help. And then another, I want to say short-term goal is to get the fairy rings available, because if I do that and I believe maybe one other quest, then I'll have some semi-easy ways to actually get myself to Barrows, which will be useful because I'm approaching the levels where I could do Barrows without too much issue. I just need a couple more prayer levels to get protect from melee, and then after that, my range level's not great, but I mean, it'll get the job done for the one I have to do, and my magic level's high enough to deal with the rest of the brothers. So, hopefully, after I get that little line of questing done, you will see my ass at Barrows, and hopefully getting some good gear. But in the meantime, we're stuck dealing with Scream knockoff quests like this, which, honestly, I don't mind. I prefer quests like this that have some kind of reference to it a lot more than, like, Ernest the Chicken or whatever, which maybe has some references that I don't catch, but it just doesn't seem as fun. Like, this at least feels like they tried to make it kind of goofy and enjoyable, so I appreciate Jagex for that. I will say, in a little bit, I do get kind of frustrated with, I guess, the questing mechanics where you have to reflect the dart with the mirror, and it wasn't so much that that's like a difficult thing to do as I had to turn off the HD client because it just made that room so dark that I couldn't tell where it was coming from, so I ended up wasting like 5 minutes that I cut out where I would get really close to getting it but miss it because I just couldn't quite tell where it was going to come from. If anybody has any suggested settings or presets for the HD client where things don't get super dark, feel free to let me know because I messed with it a little bit like after this quest where I think it made it better, but I haven't gone anywhere dark yet, so not really sure. Alright, so here we played Dead on the piano, get through. and we're about to be where I was struggling, but we're not gonna make fun of me. We're just gonna let it happen. Not everybody's great at this game. I don't claim to be. I also wonder how many people like think they can go get that Bando's God Sword, because like every time I try just to hope that the game messes up and lets me grab it, never does. This is like my third time doing the quest, hasn't let me grab it yet. Speaking of, I don't even know if that is there for any reason. Like I don't think it gets used in this quest. I kind of skipped around, so maybe I just didn't notice something, but is there a reason why that is there? Like is that used in a later quest or something that I don't know about? Alright, now we enter in the little code or whatever, get that done. Thank you again. RuneLite plugin makes this a lot easier. And here we are, we find ourselves at my least favorite part of this quest, but I'm gonna just cut through it to make it look like I did this easy peasy, because that's totally what happened. This is where I switch to the non-HD client, because you can see I can actually see everything here, which was great. Really don't know how this works, because like that hit and just bounced off to the side. Maybe I wasn't close enough. All I know is I hate this part of the quest. It is so dumb for no reason, but I'm also just bad at it, so that's probably why. And after admittedly more minutes than that should have took, we're done with it. We finished that. The rest of this quest is just easy breezy and some cutscenes, so no issue there. Glad I'm finally done with it. That wasn't very great, but the cutscenes are at least kind of entertaining. Still gonna skip through most of the cutscene for you guys though. Don't wanna bore you guys to death. Don't need you guys leaving my video and leaving me alone. Especially with this spooky scream killer on the loose. Oh, okay, yeah, I definitely just wasn't paying attention. There's that Bandos God Sword, as I was telling them that they're trash, they got wrecked. Alright, and with a quick splice, there is the end of the quest, which I'm so upset you don't get to keep the killer knife. Like, that would be fun to be able to run around with, but fuck me, right? And now we're on to Witch's Potion, which, I'll be honest, was pretty easy. I already had an Eye of Newt from a store, so it really wasn't that difficult to get everything and get this one out of the way. Alright, and then I just had to go get a couple more things for it. The burnt meat was pretty easy. I have too high of a cooking level to actually burn the meat, which is funny. So you have to just cook it twice, which I did not know was a thing. You just cook the cooked meat and it burns it intentionally, so that was good to know. Grabbed onions from this patch on the way out. That was also very easy and on the way, so even though being an Iron Man and doing quests does make things more inconvenient, if you just take an extra second or two and look at your surroundings, see what you can do, it oftentimes makes things pretty easy. Like, I don't even want to say easy, but bearable. And just like that, done with the quest. Very easy peasy. Next one, we are doing the Client of Corinne, and let me just say, quest is very easy as far as what you have to actually do. There's like no fighting, there's not really any threats, but it manages to also just be so annoying still, because all you do is just run around Corinne talking to people. So I cut large majority of that out because it was like 20 minutes of me just walking around Corinne. So bear with me on me not having that as any part of the footage. Figured you guys would appreciate that. And then here at the end of the quest, we have Veos, or whatever you want to say his name is, getting possessed, being a little creepy, but doesn't matter, we're done with the quest. Not going to talk to him again for a minute. And now we're on to a quest that I swear I have done more than any other quest in the game, due to my earlier preconceived notions that I could be some kind of good PKer in the game back a couple years ago. Let me just spoil something for you. I'm not. I am not a good PKer, nor do I think I ever will be. But did that stop me from over a couple of years making like 7 different accounts that all did this Dwarf Cannon quest? Absolutely not. But I guess that made it easier to do this time. I probably didn't even really need the guide, but I used it anyways. I'm lazy. Bing bong. We're all finished. All right, time to move on to yet another quest. And this one is one that I feel like a lot of you are probably gonna recognize. You know how I said the Dwarf Cannon quest was probably my most done quest because of all those PKing accounts? Yeah, well, this one will probably be the second most, because yet again, whenever I was working on my PKing, I would sometimes come here to get those easy attack and strength levels with no HP. Not all of my accounts had it, because I had a couple range peers or whatever, so I haven't done this one quite as much, but yet again, it was probably another one that I could have done without the guide, but being an Ironman, I like to keep it on because I don't want to mess up and end up spending an hour on a pretty easy quest. And as I've done in a lot of the other quests, I kind of mitigated some of the running for you guys so you can just see some of the main sections of the quest. Also, what are those tortoises in the back there? Like, I swear I never saw those before, but maybe it's just the HD update that makes me notice them. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Leave it in the comments if you've noticed that too. I also sort of underestimated how long this quest was going to take as an Ironman, maybe because I've always done it on a full members account, maybe because it's been a couple of years, but there were a few more steps than I remember. Like, for some reason, I always assumed the whole Glarials area was connected to a different quest line, but I don't know, maybe I'm just dumb, you know? I'm also thankful to not be doing this as a level 3 or whatever, because I would have got one tap twice there. It's fine. It's fine. I've got HP. I've got, you know, room for error, considering I make a lot of those. So we Indiana Jones our way down in here. We do all the stuff that we need to do. I'm going to skip past putting all the runes in there. You have to make sure to click the thing before you click the thing, which I almost didn't do. We're not going to talk about it, but there we have it. So, done with questing for today. Just want to say thank you guys for watching. I love you guys. Subscribe or I'll cry.